If you have ever found yourself saying, I don't know what to say when your friend's talking to you about a hard time that they're going through, then this video is for you. If you have friends that are struggling with their mental health, here's the good news. You can support them. You can help them. You don't have to be a psychologist to do this. And in today's episode of Feel Better, Do Better, I'm going to talk to you about 5 things that you can do that will help take care of your friends when they're going through mental health struggles, but also make sure that you're taking care of yourself as well. So this is super common, and it's something that makes me happy, but it is something that we should definitely talk about and learn about because sometimes we can get ourselves into sticky situations with this. But did you know that most teens turn to their friends first when they're going through a tough time with their mental health? The first people that they go to are their friends, and that can feel like a lot of pressure, that can feel like a lot of weight, but also we want to be able to be there and support them. And so I want to talk to you about a 5-step process that I do that allows me to take care of other people, to be a support for them, but also not like stepping into the line of fixing them or feeling the weight and the pressure of being the only person that's worried about this. It makes me like super happy that young people come to me about this all the time. They want to know, how can I support my friends? I know my friend is going through a tough time and I want to be there for them, but I don't know what to do. And that's very reasonable because it's not your job. And unless you've taken a course on like mental health first aid, you probably don't know what to do. And that can feel super overwhelming. But in today's episode, we'll talk about those 5 things, but I want to just start off by acknowledging the fact that you care, enough about your friends to want to learn and to want to be able to support them better. That says a lot. And so we're not going to pat ourselves on the back for just the sake of patting ourselves on the back, but let's pat ourselves on the back because that shows that you care. And to me, you can't teach that as easily as you can teach a 5-step process. So stick with me and let's get to work. All right, so the first step that I would offer for you is to notice. And this one can sound kind of silly, but we can't help if we don't know that something is going on. And oftentimes, if our friends don't directly tell us that something is going on with them, we have to do a little bit of noticing to recognize when they may be acting off. So they might be isolating themselves. They might be more easily upset or angry. They might be talking about themselves in a way that can be really tough to hear, or a really like mean way that they can talk about themselves, being super judgmental, being super harsh. Like I love to make fun of myself, but there's a difference between making fun of myself and just being mean to myself. Noticing when they're acting off. You know your friends, right? And obviously you don't know everything about them, but you know enough about them to tell something is going on and I'm not quite sure what to do about it. So the first thing that we want to do is notice that behavior has changed. I also want to add like a special little part to this because this is a very rare case, but it is also important to recognize. If you have a friend who's been open about struggling with their mental health for a long time, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, they are super happy and they are in the best mood ever, and you know nothing has happened, you don't know why they're doing this, that is something to notice too, because unfortunately, that can be a sign that this person had made plans to maybe harm themselves or take their lives. I know that's like a tough thing to hear, but it's important. I know that when I was suicidal in college, the last 2 weeks before the day I planned, I felt the best I'd ever felt. And most of my friends were kind of like, hey, we're glad you're feeling better, but no one really realized that this could be a warning sign that something bad was about to happen. So noticing when they're acting off, and then in those special rare occasions, if they're talking to you about having a tough time, if it's known, and then suddenly they're feeling a lot better, you want to notice that too, because that could be a huge warning sign for you to look out for. I said like it's a 5-step process, but I don't really know if it's like a linear process, which means it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because sometimes things might happen out of order. And I'm looking at number 2 and number 3 and realizing that these 2 might sometimes switch. Second one is to reach out, which means to make that initial contact, to recognize that things are going on with this person. Maybe they're acting a little different. Just check in and be like, hey man, hey friend, hey person, hey girl, whoever they identify as, right? Reaching out to them and saying, hey, is everything okay? I just wanted to check in on you. I've noticed that you've been acting a certain way, and I just wanted to see if there's anything you need to talk about or if there's anything going on. Third, that kind of follows up directly around this is this idea that we need to normalize having tough conversations. Because if you've never talked to your friend about this before, or you've never heard your friend talk about tough things, or you've never been those kind of friends, then that can be tough to just suddenly jump in and expect your friend to answer or to have like a really tough conversation. So sometimes we need to, before we even reach out to have that conversation, we need to normalize tough conversations. I know that this feels weird. I know that it can feel embarrassing. I once had a kid say to me it's that he was afraid of telling his friends that he was there if they wanted to talk. He was worried about one of his friends specifically who had been showing some kind of signs, but they'd never had a conversation like that. And he said, I'm worried that if I go to him and say, man, you can talk to me, I'm here, that he's going to reject it or he's going to make fun of it or it's just not going to work. So what I asked him is, what's scarier? Is putting yourself out there and being vulnerable for a friend you care about or possibly losing that person? And immediately he knew the answer. So just because it's scary doesn't mean it's not worth doing. And we also don't know how they're going to react. So reaching out can be a vulnerable thing, but it also lets that person know no matter how they act in that moment, it lets them know that you are there, that you are watching, that you are concerned. So reaching out and normalizing having tough conversations. Sometimes, and I don't want to wait for a bad situation to happen to try to say this, because when someone's kind of in that activated mode, remember the Super Saiyan here? If someone's in an activated mode, or if they're in a really low place mentally and emotionally, it might be hard to kind of start those conversations for the first time. And so sometimes just randomly, especially in new friendships, I just let people know, hey, if you were ever going through a tough time, I'm here. Or if you ever want to talk, I'm down. For my teens who are watching this, if you've never had a friend say that to you before, then this might be your opportunity to be the friend that teaches other friends what it looks like. Because if you don't know, you're not going to do it. And so sometimes we have to take that upon ourselves to be the positive influence, to be the person that says, I know this might feel weird, but I got your back, and I just want you to know that. That can actually influence your friends to maybe have those conversations with other people, or to be open to sharing with someone that maybe they hadn't thought that they could share with before. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of a scenario for the next one, because this is the way I describe it in my speech, and I think it's really important because when you feel that pressure, you know your friend's going through a tough time. Now they've shared with you, yeah, I'm going through a tough time. I'm feeling this way. I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. We might want to take that responsibility and put it all on ourselves. You are not your friend's psychologist. You are not your friend's doctor. You are not your friend's therapist. You are not your friend's parent. And so that responsibility does not fall on you. But you're probably feeling okay, I know my friend is going through a tough time, so what the hecky, right? Am I supposed to just dip out and walk away? Well, no. So think of it this way. If you saw someone drowning in a lake, I hate that scenario, but okay, right? If you see someone drowning in a lake, what happens if you jump into that lake and try to save them? You may not know this, but one of the most common things that happens in situations where someone tries to jump in and physically save someone else from drowning is that person is in such panic mode. You see that? You see the little hair? That person is in such panic mode that they end up drowning the person that is trying to rescue them. Brutal, right? I'm trying to help you and you're bringing me down with you. They don't mean to do it. It's just that they are in survival mode. And now there's another thing that they can latch onto. And this is similar to when someone is struggling with depression or anxiety, is that if you take this upon yourself, when you don't know how to do it, when it's unsafe for you, right, to just jump in the water and be I'm gonna help you, I'm gonna save you, they could drown you. They could put you in a really bad place. Suddenly you're dealing with feelings of pressure and feelings of guilt and feelings of I'm not doing enough or what do I need to do, and being racked with worry about your friend because you think that this is your job. Now you are in those waters drowning with that person. Now we've got two people drowning, right? So instead, your job is to stand on the edge of the lake and guide them to resources. The way that I describe this is you throw a lifesaver in, right? I'm gonna help guide you to resources. The resources could be, let's talk to your parents, or let's talk to a teacher you trust, or let's talk to the coach that we trust, or let's talk to the guidance counselor that we trust. Or if in that situation there are no adults that we can trust or have those tough conversations with, let's access some national resources that we can use to talk to somebody, because I don't know what to do, right? And so I know that you care about your friends, but always care about yourself. Always care about yourself too. Do not get lost and forget that you have a responsibility to yourself. And as much as we love our friends, right, we have to make sure that mentally and emotionally that we are safe as well. And that leads me to my last step, right? You have had a conversation, you've noticed, you've had a conversation, you all are now in that space where, hey, I can come to you, I can talk to you about tough stuff. You've maybe started guiding them to resources to help support them, or encouraging them to have tough conversations with the adults in their lives that can help them. The last piece is to respect boundaries. And there's two people's boundaries that you have to respect. One is you have to respect their boundaries. And this is a really tough one. You cannot force your help on people. Unless a person is saying that they're going to hurt themselves or harm someone else, which then I immediately am like, I'm sorry, this is a boundary for you. I'm going to have to tell someone else, right? This is no longer safe for me. This is not safe for other people. It's not safe for you. But most of the time, if it's just a mental and emotional boundary that someone says, like, I don't want to talk about this, or I want you to leave me alone around this, we have to respect their decision, even if they don't want it. That's like the really tough part about it, is they may say, I don't want to talk to you about this, right? And still want it, but you can't do anything about that. You can only try so much. Remember, like, trying to fight for someone that's not fighting for themselves or can't fight for themselves, right, can be exhausting. It's like jumping in that water and drowning with that person. And so respecting their boundaries, right? Unless safety is involved, unless you are genuinely scared that this person is going to hurt themselves or hurt someone else. And in that case, I would deeply suggest that you go to an adult, right, to help get some support in this. If they say, I don't want to talk to you about this or leave me alone, then you may have to do that. As someone who has done that to my friends, I will tell you this, I appreciated when my friends did it, even if I couldn't let them in. And when I came out of that really tough period, one of the first things I did was come to them and recognize that those are my friends. Those are the people that really cared about me. Instead of not saying anything at all, which could be the easy thing to do, they still put themselves out there enough to say that they care. One time, when I was in a place where I felt like I was going to hurt myself, I was talking in a really bad way. I actually got a call from my mom, who didn't know that I was in that situation. But the reason she knew is because my friend, who kept trying to support me, I had pushed him away so much and he was so worried that he called my mom. And for some people, you're like, ew, that's gross. That's a friend. That's a friend. He knows I love my mom. He knows I have a good relationship with her, right? He called her because he knew that she could get to me when he couldn't. And also, he was respecting his own boundaries. And that's the second piece for you, is that you have to respect your own boundaries. You have so much that you are responsible for. You are responsible for yourself, your education, your other relationships, your family dynamics, the responsibilities that you have, chores, your hobbies and passions, jobs, maybe your future. You have so much that you have to worry about that if you put everything on the back burner just to support someone else, you are no longer taking care of yourselves, right? And sometimes people get into really bad places because for so long, all they've done is take care of other people. And so respecting their boundaries and also respecting your boundaries. Also, another boundary that you should know that you have, even if you don't realize it, is that Zach, I'm so mad you did that. Also, another boundary that you have that you may not realize is that it's not your job. You're not trained. I'm a mental health advocate, which means I advocate for mental health. I do not diagnose people. I do not treat people, right? If a young person comes to me and says that they're thinking about harming themselves, I can't take it upon myself to try to fix that person or try to be the person that holds that. What I will do is guide them to some resources for people who are like, it's their job. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but that's literally their job. That's what they're there to do. So if you are in that situation, remember to respect their boundaries, but also pay attention to your boundaries as well. So, forehead's getting a little bit sweaty. I know these are tough conversations to have, but they are important. I said this earlier, but this is super, super, super crucial. Just because something is tough does not mean it's not worth it. Sometimes it's tough and it's not worth it, but your friends are worth it. Your friends' well-being is worth it. And so I want to thank you again for caring enough to watch this video. If you have any questions or any hesitations, please let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you what makes it hard for us to show up for other people. If I missed something, I'll make another video because this whole channel is dedicated to you. And the reason that I did this video is because over and over again at these speeches, young people are saying, how can I help my friends? I know that society can really look down on young people, but I am rooting for you. And I say that and I mean it. I don't know who I'm talking to, but if you can hear me, I care about you and I'm rooting for you because we need people to do better and to feel better. And that's why we're here. So until then, my friends, leave a comment below for any questions or concerns you have. I always feel so weird doing that, but literally this is how it grows. So an area I'm working on is advocating for myself. If you like these videos, please comment, please like, please subscribe, and please share it with other people that you think would like it as well. I'm rooting for you, always. The same way I'm rooting for my hair to stay down. Jeez, okay. Bye.